Hello everyone, Adam here with AJT Design. Today we've got an instruction video. This is for our new shift knob for the Jeep Wrangler JL, as well as the Gladiator JT, otherwise known as the Jeep truck. So if you got shift knobs like these, and you want to upgrade them, we've got a new option. Looks a little something like this. So your main shifter knob, as well as your transfer case knob. And we offer these in two colors. Clear, anodized clear for a silver finish, as well as anodized in matte black. Screws on the top are available in black, red, blue, as well as silver. Okay, so this is an instruction video, so what I'm going to show you how to do is how to remove these factory knobs and replace them with our upgraded aftermarket option. So when you're doing this, you do not need to remove these modules from your vehicle. This is done only for demonstration purposes. You will, however, have to remove this boot from the console that it's mounted to. And to do that, see there's four little tabs. Trying to see if find the best way to show them. What you'll want to do is just kind of squeeze those. You might need to get a screwdriver underneath to kind of press this in and pull this thing upward, and it should pop right out. So once you get this loose, you want to pull it up as high as it goes, and on the back side there's going to be a little screw right there. And all of these shifters come with a hardware kit, and inside that kit you're going to find a Torx key that looks like this, and you use this to remove the screw. It just comes right out. Oops. Just like that. Discard the screw, and then the whole thing should pop right off, just like that. So once you've got this thing removed, we need to separate everything from the boot because we are reusing the boot. So on this piece right here on the sides, right there, and on the other side, there's a little tab that you're going to have to press in with a small screwdriver in order to release the shifter part out of there. So see, that one's already blown out. Press that in, and then while you're pressing that in, this whole thing will kind of snap off. So the shifter comes off, you can set that aside. And this last plastic piece also has to come off, and when you take it off for the first time, it's going to be glued to this boot. Now the glue, this one's already been removed, so the glue is not there anymore. Basically what you do is you just separate it by hand and just gently pull it apart, or kind of work your way around. And it shouldn't take that much effort to remove this glue, and as long as you're reasonably careful, you're not going to damage anything. But of course be careful, because you don't want to damage this leather boot. So that's the disassembly for the main shifter. You set this aside. Transfer case knob is going to be very similar. Again, squeeze this inward to release these tabs. So if you can see them, there's like one there, and then on the other side as well. Pull this up as high as you can. This one's a little tighter. And on the side, same deal. You got another one of these screws that we got to remove with this Torx key. Screw comes out, and with that screw out, this whole thing should pretty much just kind of slide off. You know, it comes off just like that. So again, we've got to remove all this stuff from the boot. This one, I believe if you hang on to everything and just pull this should just snap right out. This has been apart before, so that came off pretty easily, but I think the first time you do it, a little bit of force, but not too bad. So it should just pop right out. And then same deal, this plastic piece, not anymore, but when you take yours apart, it's going to be glued in, and it's going to look something, let's try to recreate this here, something like this, where it's glued in underneath, and you just want to kind of push this in work your way around to break that bond, and then you can see where the glue was in there. This comes off and you can discard this piece. And there you have it. So, got the disassembly complete. Now it's time to put these together, put the new shift knobs on. Work our way back to this one, your main shifter. We will demonstrate on the clear piece, I think. So what we want to do here, first thing we want to do is attach the boot to the shifter itself. So you line this thing up just as it came out of the vehicle, like this, and this shank has to go down through the boot like that. So just kind of carefully work that in, like that, flip it upside down, press it through. And again, you want to line that seam up with that hole right there, and the boot should be just underneath the hole. What you're going to do then is take one of the supplied zip ties and you're going to put it around here, and that's going to secure the boot to the shifter. Just move it over here so we can see it. Just work your way around like so. Pull it nice and snug. So it should look like that. Again, still have access to the hole. And so you've got it about as tight as you can pull it. You simply just trim the zip tie. Careful not to trim the boot at the same time. There you have it. And make sure it's aligned. The boot is properly aligned with the knob. Now to install it, simply put this on, line up the shifter with the hole. And then this shift knob, the final part of it, it's secured with 2 set screws. So each one has 2 set screws. It's going to come with 4 screws. There is a long one and a short one that has an extended point. So the short one goes on the bottom and the long one goes on the top. So what you'll want to do first on the bottom is there's a hole in the shaft that you want to align with the hole on our shifter. Let me see if I can show that. It's pretty easy to see. And if you can kind of see it go back and forth there, it's pretty easy to see if you have it in front of you. So you want to move that so you can see that it's aligned, and then thread this in here. Again, there'll be a supplied Allen key. And what you want to do is make sure that's threaded all the way into that hole. Back it off just a little bit so that you're using the screw to locate the shifter, but it's not tightened down yet. So it shouldn't be able to go up or down. It should rock back and forth just a little bit. With it secured like that, pull the boot back down, and then we're going to install the screw here. Again, this is the longer set screw. So just put it down there. Down there, and then we'll want to tighten this one up all the way. Blue Loctite on these screws is a good idea if you have some around. Prevent any chance of loosening up. Again, so put that one in there, nice and snug. Then you go back to the screw on the bottom and snug this guy up. Using this process will ensure that it's just the alignment of this is as perfect as you can get it. If you tighten this one first, you might put it all back together, and the indexing of these screws might be just a little less than perfect. So that's the recommended way to do it, just to get it as good as it can possibly be. So test the functionality. This should work, and you should be able to move your shifter back and forth. This one, you have to have your brakes on or whatever, but should allow it to do its thing. And then simply with this being in the vehicle, you just need to snap this boot back in. Then your main shifter knob is done. So let's move on to the transfer case knob. And again, this is going to be a similar procedure. Take the knob and you got to thread this shank through the hole. And on this one, the longer side of the boot goes on the front. So just keep that in mind. So thread this piece in here, and then you got to kind of inside out the whole thing again. And this one's a little trickier on the boot side of things. We've got to really kind of fold this over. Try and get access to it here. Let's see. A little stubborn. And this one, again, you want to line the hole should be kind of off to the side. You can kind of tweak it once you're done too though, so it's no big deal. I'm just trying to get this thing out of here. Okay, so you should be able to pull the boot so it looks something like this. And again, you've really got to stretch it to get all the excess out of the way. And again, we'll simply just take a zip tie. Get it on there. Again. That nice and tight. So it should look like this when it's done. You should have a little bit of the material above the zip tie. And again, simply trim the excess. We'll find those later. And pull it through. Make sure that it's sitting pretty. So then what we need to do, again, line this thing up properly. Just put this onto the shaft and tighten down the set screws. So, like that. This goes on here. And same deal, take the shorter one on the bottom spot. Try to get this so you can see it in the frame. Oops. Again, what you're going to want to do is make sure that the extended point of that set screw is in the hole in the shaft. So loosen it up just a little bit. You should be able to, rotate it slightly, up and down slightly, but it's located in place. Then you go back up to your other set screw here, drop the long one in, tighten this thing all the way down. Just gonna index it properly. Again, blue Loctite is a good idea, highly recommended here. Go back to your one on the bottom, tighten that, pull the boot down, snap it back in, and that's all there is to it. Should be fully installed at this point. So that's pretty much the video. Again, pretty straightforward installation. You're looking at maybe 15 minutes tops probably. So that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. I will have a link to our website if you'd like to purchase these shifters, as well as my email if you have any questions. Thank you.